Happy Saturday, everybody. I hope you guys are having a great weekend. I'm super excited about today's video because we are going to be looking at million-dollar listings. Okay, we're looking at the million-dollar house here in Nashville and how many discounts there are, how to get those discounts, when to get the discounts, what is the dynamic, where's the supply heavy, where is it not? Just this is going to be a deep dive into million-dollar houses, and I can't wait. But first, my name's Flynn. I'm a realtor, I'm a CPA, I'm a real estate investor, and I just really love data. And so this is me deep diving into questions that I have and then sharing that information with you. So without further ado, let's get into the data. So the first thing I wanted to do is orient us with kind of a chart that we've been using all year long, but using it for price drops. So this is the three price bands we have here. Orange is 700 a million, gray is 0 to 700 on price. And then that blue line is the million-dollar prices, the ones we're looking at for today's video. Now, what you can see here, there's actually, I was surprised. I did this morning and I got shocked because the discounts on active listings for 700 to a million are skyrocketing right now. That's a surprise. 41% of active listings right now in the 700 to a million range are getting discounted from their original price. Now, compare that to the million-dollar listings that have been relatively strong this year. A low of 22%. That's 1 out of 5 active listings in March. And now we're at 1 out of 3. So it's increased significantly. And now that we're hitting into the fall, we're hitting into a different season of home buying. We're going to see more active listings that have been discounted from original price. Now, once they're discounted though, can you still get an additional price reduction? And that's what we're going to talk about in today's video. So let's keep going. Let's look at months supply. So this is just a Davidson Williamson zoom in, and keep in mind million-dollar listings are primarily in Davidson Williamson, but I'm going to show you some other areas here in just a minute that have a ton of million-dollar listings and they are not selling. So here we can see we peaked at 7 months supply in million-dollar listings last year, really in October, November, but then also in January, before we had that massive run up in contract volume, we had a 7-month supply. And what I want you to notice about this chart, especially as moving forward, is when contract volume changes sharply, the month supply changes sharply because I'm using contract volume and not closed volume. That's very important if you're buying, because if you're buying and contract volume disappears, you all of a sudden have a massive edge that would never show up in the data for almost 2 months. But if we're following contract volume, you can immediately see that you have an advantage to the seller that wasn't there the day or week or 2 weeks before. So it's very important that we watch contract volume. And that's actually, if you see this little spike right here where it jumped up because contract volume started dropping dramatically. And again, it dropped down to 4.8 because contract volume has picked up a little bit. Let's take a look at this chart down here. This is contract volume for million-dollar listings. And you can see that contract volume went from 230 to 247, and we saw month supply drop pretty dramatically. Guys, it's so important that you look at the contract volume. I'm going to show you why here in a minute when I show you this map that I have, because it can change on a dime. And when it changes, it vastly changes the experience of sellers and buyers. And if you're a buyer and you're monitoring it, you can really take advantage of situations where contract volume goes from 285 to 230, a 20% drop almost immediately. Those kind of dynamics can be very powerful. Let me show you one other thing here. I do want to show you active listings. So you can see the active listings. Again, that dark blue line has been skyrocketing and it's now started to settle down a little bit. It's still going up, but it's not going up to the degree. And we're hovering about 1,200 active listings in Davidson, Williamson County that are million-dollar listings, right at the same number of active listings that are under 700,000, which is pretty wild. Okay, now let's take a look at the map. Okay, this map, which by the way, if you're a Substack subscriber, I'll send this map out. If you're a paid subscriber, you'll actually have a link where you can interact with this map just like I'm doing now. So feel free to subscribe if this interests you. It's a super fun map. So when we're looking at this map, there's a few things I want to call out. One is Columbia. Columbia, I don't know if you can see this or not, but there are 38 active million-dollar listings in Columbia right now and only 3 under contract. Okay, it would take over a year at this rate to get through those million-dollar listings. that's a problem. So if you're in Columbia and you're looking at $1 million listing, you have a massive advantage than some of these other areas. Okay, let's move up north into the Franklin area. Now, Franklin, this 37064 is a very interesting zip code. Okay, it's got West Haven in there. It includes parts of Berry Farms and Ladd Park. I like the zip code. So what makes this even more interesting is you can see our active count is 156 in this zip code, and our contract volume is 53. So right now, that's a 3-month supply. That is tight. However, if for some reason the contract volume disappears, this is an area that you could really take advantage. And the reason why is because there's $150 plus million of houses sitting in 37064. If demand all of a sudden disappears, there are a lot of houses that are for sale that will need a buyer, and you can take advantage of that. So that's one where I would watch, does the contract volume change, and does it change significantly? Okay, look at this one. There's 44 here, and this is just east of Franklin. On the other side of 65, there's 44 active listings, but only 6 under contract. So you can see the dynamic there. That is a softer market. And then if we go north into Brentwood, to almost 200 active listings and only 42 under contract. Now, keep in mind, 42 under contract, that's a really strong number in general for $1 million listings. Here's another area, 21 active listings and only 1 under contract. Here we go, 37218, 10 active listings, none under contract. So you can see this area is very heavy with $1 million listings and very little contract volume. That to me is a red flag. I would be worried about that. I'm not worried about Brentwood, Franklin, Williamson County. Williamson County seems very strong, but there are opportunities for discounts. So let's deep dive into those opportunities. So first, this chart's Williamson County. This red line is the upper quartile. The blue line is median, and the green line is lower quartile. And the reason I did this is to show a general range of where you're at within the spectrum of $1 million houses that are selling. And what we can see here is that it's been pretty strong for the past year. It weakened April, June, May, June. It started to weaken, and it weakened all the way through January. And you can see especially the median price, even though the upper quartile actually held in there pretty strongly. And now from January on, it's actually strengthened, which is surprising to me. I did not expect prices to go up. Now, this is price per square foot. It's a great way to measure price bands is using the price per square foot. So here we are, and now we've seen a drop. July was the first month to actually really show a significant drop this year. And we saw it go, the median sales price in June was 384, dropping all the way down to 353. And even the lower quartile went from 315 to 292. So here's the deal. If you are looking for $1 million house, this should give you some sense of range of what price per square foot and what quartile you would be in if you're buying a house that's $1 million. Okay, $350 a square foot is the median price per square foot. But if you're on the upper range of that, it can go up all the way to 427, and it can go all the way down the lower quartile to 292. So if you're getting a nice $1 million house under 292 a square foot, I'll tell you, you're getting a good deal relative to what's selling in Williamson County. Now, obviously, these things are hyper local, so you have to factor in neighborhood. I would be looking at new builds. What are new builds? Price per square foot going for? There are other things to look for, but in general, this can give you a sense of where you're at within the market. Even though August is on here, August is not, it's a half a month, okay? So it's not really showing you what August is, but it is trending down right now. It is trending down. So we'll see if that continues. But again, it's very unclear. It's almost noise. I should have eliminated it, but I didn't. So let's keep going. So this is a 3-month view of all closings in Williamson County and the difference between the list price and the sales price. And you can see a lot of discounts here, Now, I looked one of these up randomly. So I was like, oh my gosh, $200,000 off, like this one right here. Let's see here. It was on the market for 72 days, $200,000 off, 248-4408. Yeah, it's a $4 million house, okay? So, $200,000 off, you really kind of need to look at percent. And so that's what I did here. I got percent. Okay, so, and this is, by the way, just 1 month because there was just so much noise with the 3 months, I couldn't handle it. So this is just the last month of closed from July 10th to August 9th. This is the percent difference from list price by days on market. So this x-axis is days on market. Now, here's the cool part about this. I love this chart for this reason. Look at 0 to 10 days, it's hit or miss. You can still get a discount on a very newly listed property within 10 days. It was as low as 6.5%, and of course, as high as 6%. That's nuts. Okay, but this gives you an idea of what people are paying over list and under list within the first week of a house being on the market. That being said, when you go past 10 days, nothing is going higher than list. Okay, so if you see a house that has more than 10 days on market, or 10 days, up to 10 days on market, 10 to 20 days, to me, this is a huge opportunity. You like a house, you wait, you see if it goes. If it doesn't go, I'm looking for a 5 to 10% discount right here. And you can see, it looks to me like half of the listings that were 10 days or more in this box between 10 and 20 days went for 5 to 10% lower than their list price. And guys, list price isn't original list price. They may have already dropped the price, but still they're going 5 to 10% lower. So I'm looking for 5 to 10%. Now, granted, just to anchor your expectations, you got to go back to this right here. If you're in that lower quartile, there's probably not as much opportunity to get that 10% than if you're in the upper quartile and there's, several $100,000 to discount and not a big deal. So just keep that in mind. Let's look at this one. Let's look at this one that went, it was 11 days. I'm going to guess that's 11 days on market. 12 days on market. There it is. Okay, yeah. So this is a $1.3 million house, went for 263 square foot. So it was below that lower quartile. That's positive. Look at that beautiful sunroom with the fireplace. It's awesome. And it's in Arrington. Okay, so this was listed for 1.5 and they got it for 1,339. It's on 7 acres in Arrington with a custom kitchen. I mean, this is a beautiful, gorgeous house. I don't know much about this specific situation in neighborhood because we're just pulling this up randomly. But you can see, yeah, it was originally listed for 1.5. They got almost $200,000 off with only, it says 12 days on market, but you can see it went under contract and then went back to active. And when it went back to active, it took a little longer and they got a huge discount. So very interesting. That's the kind of thing that you want to look for if you're trying to get a discount, but you're trying to buy $1 million house. So obviously there are very specific situations with every single one of these houses. So this is general direction, but you can see that there are pretty massive discounts, 5, 10, and even almost 20%. Look at this one. It was on days on market. It got an 18.8% discount. For those of you who are saying, like, when I say 20% arbitrarily, like, people are getting a 20% discount. Let's just look at this one. What went for 1.5 million? The last list was 1,849, $350 a square foot, and they got it for 290. Okay, it was in Fieldstone Farms. I mean, that's a cool looking house. Anyways, 290 a square foot, and you can see they dropped the price. It was originally listed for almost $2 million, and now it's 1.5 is what it went for. So this is pretty wild. The point of this is just saying, like, what you see listed as the list price doesn't mean that's what you have to pay. Okay. There are plenty of discounted houses and nice houses going for much less, even almost 20%. I mean, that was, when you factor in the original list price, that's like 25% discount. Wild. And with that, and I look forward to seeing you next Saturday.